Welcome to ePathshala. The topic is micro-encapsulation and I am Dr. Shakila, Professor and Head Department of Food Processing and Preservation Technology in the University of Avinashilingam. Micro-encapsulation is the envelopment of small solid particles, liquid droplets or gases in a coating. Micro-encapsulation is based on the embedding effect of a polymeric matrix which creates a microenvironment in the capsule capable to control the interactions between the internal part and the external one. Microencapsulation is a rapid expanding technology. It is the process of applying relatively thin coatings to small particles of solids or droplets of liquids and dispersions. Microencapsulation provides a means of converting liquids to solids, of altering colloidal and surface properties, of providing environmental protection and of controlling the release characteristics or availability of coated materials. Microencapsulation is receiving considerable attention fundamentally, developmentally and commercially. This process is defined as a technology of packing solids, liquids or gaseous materials in miniature sealed capsules that can release their contents at controlled rates under specific conditions. In a broad sense, encapsulation technology in food processing includes the coating of minute particles of ingredients as well as whole ingredients, which may be accomplished by micro-encapsulation and macro coating techniques respectively. The food industry applies micro-encapsulation process for a variety of reasons. 1. Encapsulation can protect the core material to its outside environment, and 2. Evaporation or transfer rate of the core material to the outside environment is retarded. The physical characteristics of the original material can be modified and made easier to handle. The product can be tailor-made to either release slowly or over time or at a certain point, that is, to control the release of the core material to achieve the property delay until the right stimulus. The flavor of the core material can be masked. The core material can be diluted when only very small amounts are required, yet still achieve a uniform dispersion in the host material. And finally, it can be employed to separate components within a mixture that would otherwise react with one another. The possible benefits of micro-encapsulated ingredients in the food industry could be to protect core compounds from the environment, to reduce the loss from vaporization, to modulate the intact properties of compounds for easy control during processing, such as superior handling of the active agent, like the conversion of liquid into a powder, which might be dust-free, free-flowing and might have a more neutral smell. Immobility of active agent in food processing systems. Improved stability in final product and during processing, that is less evaporation of volatile active agent and no degradation or reaction with other components in the food product such as oxygen or water. Improved safety, example, reduced flammability of volatiles like aroma, no concentrated volatile oil handling, creation of visible and textural effects, adjustable properties of active components, off taste masking, controlled release. Hence, micro-encapsulation involves incorporation of food ingredients, enzymes, cells or other materials in small capsules. Microcapsules offer food processors a means with which to protect sensitive food components, ensure against nutritional loss, utilize otherwise sensitive ingredients. It also incorporates unusual or time release mechanisms into the formulation, mask or preserve flavors and aromas, and transform liquids into easily handled solid ingredients. The term microcapsule is defined as a spherical material with size varying from 50 nanometers to 2 millimeters containing a core substance. Microspheres are in strict sense spherical empty particles. However, the terms microcapsule and microspheres are often used synonymously. Microspheres are characteristically free-flowing powders consisting of proteins or synthetic polymers. These are biodegradable in nature and ideally have a particle size less than 200 micrometers. Microencapsulation can provide a physical barrier between the core compound and the other components of the product. It is a technique by which liquid droplets, solid particles or gas compounds are entrapped into thin films of a food-grade microencapsulating agent. The core may be composed of just one or several ingredients and the wall may be single or it may be double layered. The retention of these cores is governed by their chemical functionality, solubility, polarity and volatility. Basic considerations of microencapsulation technique. Microencapsulation often involves a basic understanding of the general properties of microcapsules, such as the nature of the core and coating materials, the stability and release characteristics of the coated materials, and the microencapsulation methods. The intended physical characters of the encapsulated product and the intended use of the final product must also be considered. Looking at the various components, the first one is the core material. The core material, defined as the specific material to be coated, can be liquid or solid in nature. The composition of the core material can be varied, as the liquid core can include dispersed or dissolved material. The solid core can be a mixture of active constituents, stabilizers, diluents, excipients and release rate retardants or accelerators. 2. Coating materials. These should be capable of forming a film that is cohesive with the core materials. It should be chemically compatible and non-reactive with the core material and provide the desired coating properties such as strength, flexibility, impermeability, optical properties and stability. The total thickness of the coatings achieved with microencapsulation technique is microscopic in size. Stability, release and other properties. Three important areas of current microencapsulation application are the stabilization of core materials, the control of the release or availability of core materials, and separation of chemically reactive ingredients within a tablet or powder mixture. A wide variety of mechanisms is available to release the encapsulated core materials, such as disruption of the coating can occur by pressure, shear or abrasion forces, permeability changes brought about enzymatically, etc. Improved gastro-tolerability of drugs can be obtained by microencapsulation. Physical character of the final product. Microcapsules should have desirable physical properties like the ability to flow, to be compacted or to be suspended, and the capsule wall must be capable of resisting the pressure during compression, etc. Coating materials. A number of different substances, both biodegradable as well as non-biodegradable, have been investigated for the preparation of microcapsules. These materials include the polymers of natural and synthetic origin and also modified natural substances. Looking at the structure of microcapsules, most of these are small spheres with diameters ranging between a few micrometers and a few millimeters. However, many of these microcapsules bear little resemblance to these simple spheres. In fact, both the size and the shape of formed microparticles depend on materials and methods used to prepare them. The different types of microcapsules and microspheres are produced from a wide range of wall materials like monomers and polymers. Hence, depending on the physico-chemical properties of the core, the wall composition and microencapsulation technique used, different types of particles can be obtained. This is shown in figure 1. A simple sphere, as you can see, is surrounded by a coating of uniform thickness. A particle containing an irregular shaped core, several core particles, embedded in a continuous matrix of wall material. Several distinct cores within the same capsule and multi-walled microcapsules. Micro-encapsulation techniques. Encapsulation of food ingredients into coating material can be achieved by several methods. The selection of micro-encapsulation process is governed by a physical and chemical properties of the core and coating materials and the intended application of food ingredients. Sophisticated shell materials and technologies have been developed and have an extremely wide variety of functionalities can now be achieved through micro-encapsulation. Any kind of trigger can be used to prompt the release of encapsulated ingredient such as a pH change, a mechanical stress, temperature, enzymatic activity, time, osmotic force, etc. In general, 3 precautions need to be considered for developing microcapsules. 1. Formation of the wall around the material, ensuring that leakage does not occur and ensuring that undesired materials are kept out. Encapsulation techniques include spray drying, spray chilling or spray cooling, extrusion coating, fluid bed coating, liposomal entrapment, lyophilization, co-acervation, centrifugal suspension, separation, co-crystallization and inclusion complexation. The selection of the micro-encapsulation method and coating materials are interdependent. Based on the coating material or method applied, the appropriate method or coating material is selected. Coating materials, which are basically film forming materials, can be selected from a wide variety of natural or synthetic polymers depending on the material to be coated and characteristics desired in the final microcapsules. The composition of the coating material is the main determinant of the functional properties of the microcapsule and of how it may be used to improve the performance of a particular ingredient. Therefore, let us look at the ideal characteristics of coating material. Number 1, it should possess good rheological properties at high concentration and easy workability during encapsulation. The ability to disperse or emulsify active material and stabilize the emulsion produced. Next, non-reactivity with the material to be encapsulated both during processing or on prolonged storage. The ability to seal and hold the active material within its structure during processing or storage. The ability to completely release the solvent or other materials used during the process of encapsulation under drying or other desolventization conditions. The ability to provide maximum protection to the active material against environmental conditions. Solubility in solvents acceptable in the food industry. Chemical non-reactivity with the active core materials. And finally, inexpensive food grade status. This table shows various micro-encapsulation techniques and the processes involved in each technique. Because no single coating material can meet all of the criteria listed above, in practice either coating materials are employed in combinations or modifiers such as oxygen scavengers, antioxidants, chelating agents and surfactants are added. Let's look at the various micro-encapsulation techniques. 1. Spray drying. This is the most common micro-encapsulation technique used in food industry. Spray drying technique for producing encapsulated flavoring was discovered by A. Boak Roberts in 1937 when acetone was accidentally added to tomato puree, which helped him to maintain the color and flavor of tomato powder during spray drying. Subsequently, spray drying has become the most important commercial process for making dry flavorings. Vitamins, minerals, colorants, fat and oil, flavor, aroma compounds, oleoresins and enzymes have been encapsulated using this technique. It is an economical as well as an effective method for protecting materials and is mostly employed, particularly for flavors for which specialized equipment is not required. For encapsulation purposes, modified starch, maltodextrin, gum, or others are hydrated to be used as a carrier or wall material. The material for encapsulation is homogenized with the carrier material, usually at a ratio of 1:4. The mixture is then fed into a spray dryer and atomized with a nozzle or spinning wheel. Water gets evaporated by the hot air contacting the atomized material. The capsules are then collected after they fall to the bottom of the dryer. Microencapsulation by spray drying offers advantages over conventional microencapsulation techniques by producing microcapsules via a relatively simple continuous process. The spray drying equipment used is same as is used for the production of dry milk. Common encapsulating wall materials used in spray drying. The most important step in encapsulation of any core material by spray drying is the selection of a suitable wall material, which should form a continuous thin film and should protect the core material from deterioration. The material should be low in cost, should have mild taste, and should be stable during storage. The desired functional profile of encapsulating material includes high solubility, effective emulsification, low viscosity at high level of solids, low hygroscopicity, easy release of core material, and efficient drying properties. Gum arabic acacia is one of the oldest and traditional wall materials or carriers used in spray drying. It is a natural exudate from the trunk and branches of leguminous plants of the family Acacia. Although it is one of the most preferred wall materials, alternative carriers are being used for dry flavoring and other core materials due to its low production and very high cost. Modified starches. Chemically modified starches most closely reproduce the functional properties of gum arabic. Natural starches virtually have no emulsifying property. Esterification with cyclic dicarboxylic acid anhydride imparts emulsifying power to the partially hydrolyzed starches. This technique is practiced on a commercial scale to have the wall material tailor-made. The modified starches are found to be superior to gum acacia in emulsifying properties and in retention of volatile flavors during spray drying. Hydrolyzed starches. This is one of the most common wall or carrier materials. The hydrolyzed starches are available in a dextrose equivalent ranging from 2 to 36.5 and offer good protection against oxidation. These are low in viscosity at high total solid contents. However, they lack in emulsifying properties. It is therefore used along with gum acacia or other emulsifying agents like protein, whey protein concentrates and whey protein isolates. Maltodextrin and low dextrose equivalent corn syrup solids when dried show matrix forming properties important in the wall system. When maltodextrins or CSs are used as wall constituents, it is necessary to incorporate other wall material such as gelating agent, sodium caseinate, whey proteins, lecithins, etc. for improving emulsifying characteristics. Whey proteins. As starch and related products lack emulsification properties, they are used as wall materials along with surface active wall constituents. Whey protein, owing to their structure, gives functional properties desired for effective microencapsulation of anhydrous milk fat. Whey protein in combination with maltodextrins and corn syrup solids are reported to be the most effective encapsulation material during spray drying. Spray chilling. In spray chilling, the material to be encapsulated is mixed with the carrier and atomized by cooled or chilled air as opposed to heated air used in spray drying. The outer material is usually vegetable oil in the case of spray cooling, maintained at a temperature of 45 to 122 degrees centigrade, or a hydrogenated or fractionated vegetable oil in the case of spray chilling. Frozen liquids, heat sensitive materials, and those not soluble in the usual solvents can be encapsulated by spray chilling or spray cooling. It is the least expensive encapsulation technology and is routinely used for the encapsulation of a number of organic and inorganic salts like ferrous sulfate, vitamin, mineral or acidulants, as well as textural ingredients, enzymes, flavors and other functional ingredients to improve heat stability, delay release in wet environments and or convert liquid hydrophilic ingredient into free flowing powders. Spray cooling. This is called as matrix encapsulation because the particles are more adequately described as aggregates of active ingredient particles buried in the fat matrix, while true encapsulation is usually reserved for processes leading to a core shell type of microencapsules. A matrix encapsulation process leaves a significant proportion of the active ingredient lying on the surface of the microcapsules or sticking out of the fat matrix, thus having direct access to the environment. Particles produced by a matrix encapsulation process generally release their entire content within a few minutes after being incorporated in the food. A non-negligible proportion of the active ingredients can also be found on the surface of a core of the microcapsule, but the bulk of the ingredient is encapsulated and much slower release kinetics are typically obtained. Even though the process does not lead to a perfect encapsulate, the properties obtained by spray cooling or chilling are sufficient to achieve the desired delayed release of the ingredient in the actual strong application. However, a strong binding of the ingredient to the fat matrix can prevent the release of the ingredient even if the fat matrix is melted or damaged during processing. Extrusion. Extrusion microencapsulation has been used almost exclusively for the encapsulation of volatile and unstable flavors in glassy carbohydrate matrices. The main advantage of this process is a very long shelf life imparted to normally oxidation prone flavor compounds such as citrus oils, because atmospheric gases diffuse very slowly through the hydrophilic glassy matrix, thus providing an almost impermeable barrier against oxygen. Shelf lives of up to 5 years have been reported for extruded flavor oils compared to typically 1 year for spray dried flavors and a few months for unencapsulated citrus oils. Carbohydrate matrices in the glassy states have very good barrier properties, and extrusion is a convenient process enabling the encapsulation of flavors in such matrices. This process can be used for encapsulating nutraceuticals. These processes could theoretically use glassy carbohydrates as shell material, such as fluidized bed coating, but extrusion remains the most suitable process for such shell materials. Fluidized bed coating. This technology is very efficient way to apply a uniform layer of shell material onto solid particles. Interestingly, fluidized bed technology is one of the few advanced technologies capable of coating materials with any kind of shell material like polysaccharides, proteins, emulsifiers, fats, complex formations, enteric coating, powder coatings, yeast cell extract, etc. Therefore, the control release possibilities are considerably more versatile with the fluidized bed technology than with any other technologies. Aqueous solutions of hydrocolloids such as gums and proteins, ethanolic solutions of synthetic polymers and melted fats have all been used as coating formulations in fluidized bed microencapsulation processes. Spray dried microcapsules can also be further coated by fluidized bed with a fat layer in order to impart better protection and shelf life. The use of melted fats, waxes or emulsifiers as shell materials is a relatively new but promising and interesting concept. To conclude, many nutrition experts and food research institutes are looking for new ingredients with possible health benefits. Phytochemicals, wood-derived ingredients such as phytosterols, pro and prebiotics, new polyphenols are some examples of ingredients. Many of these ingredients will be available in a purified forms in near future. Adding them to food systems will often require technological innovations. The challenges are to select the appropriate microencapsulation technique and encapsulating material. Despite the wide range of encapsulated products that have been developed, manufactured and successfully marketed in the pharmaceutical and cosmetic industries, microencapsulation has found a comparatively much smaller market in the food industry.